Midbis, why the hell do you keep doing that? This is the 9th time I've had to tell you this. Just cut it out. It wasn't you this time? Well, then who was it? Uh-oh. Oh, hey, Bowser. Buddy, how's that arm of yours doing? Look, can't we talk this over? Oh God, run! What better way to start off with the top 20 than with the infamous Beast of the Sea, which happens to be one of the downright strongest flying type Pokemon ever to be conceived, Lugia. Lugia needs no introduction, and he is probably the most famous Generation 2 Pokemon ever, with Ho-Oh very close behind. I apologize to all of you who are wanting Ho-Oh to appear on this list, but to me, Ho-Oh is nothing compared to Lugia. Some fans see Lugia as being overrated, and personally, I can understand why. Out of every Pokemon ever, Lugia has had the most appearances as a mascot. Lugia has been the star Pokemon of Silver, Gale of Darkness, and even Soul Silver. Wow, that is special treatment. Being the trio master of the legendary birds, Lugia is one tough motherfucker. Lugia's base stat total is 680, some of the greatest stats you could possibly have. Despite having a powerful disposition, Lugia is not as offensive as one would think. Lugia is the defensive member of the Tower Duo, and also one of the most defensive Pokemon ever. Lugia's special defense is equivalent to that of Ho-Oh, reaching a maximum of 447. But unlike Ho-Oh, Lugia also has incredible physical defense as well, reaching a maximum of 394. That is some serious bulk right there. Tracing back to his fame real quick, Lugia also has a dark incarnation, XD001, which is the codename alias of the monstrous Shadow Lugia, the most powerful Pokemon that Cypher has ever created. Shadow Lugia is the ultimate Shadow Pokemon, having a heart that is so encased in evil that it alters Lugia's natural appearance in a polar opposite tone. It's too bad that we had to purify him, because Shadow Lugia looks kick-ass. As of today, Lugia's origin basis is currently unknown. This is a theory, but some have speculated that Lugia is based off of Ryujin, the dragon-like Shinto god of the sea, which is shockingly accurate considering that Lugia is widely known as the guardian of the sea, and is also able to naturally learn dragon-type moves like Dragon Rush. Very perplexing. In conclusion, Lugia is just plain awesome. While he does have supporting factors behind him, I guess I am a little biased considering the fact that Lugia was the first Pokemon I ever laid eyes on, considering that the first thing I saw in Pokemon media was the cartridge of Pokemon Silver. Without a doubt, the most nostalgic Pokemon from my childhood. At number 19, we have the possessed Chandelure of pure burning horror, Chandelure. Now, some of you are probably thinking, why the fuck did this stupid little household ornament get placed above the almighty Lugia? Well, first of all, it's my list. And second, shut up! Yeah, I'm not going to lie, I prefer Chandelure over Lugia. I'm gonna be blunt with all of you, I love this thing to death. Then again, everybody loves Chandelure. Chandelure is my favorite Gen 5 Ghost type. Despite its simple looking design, Chandelure is one of the most creative Gen 5 Pokemon I've ever seen. That is definitely saying something considering all of the brilliant Pokemon designs in Gen 5. So why is Chandelure so awesome? Well, let's go over the basics. First off, its typing is kick-ass. A Ghost Fire type? Oh my god, thank you Game Freak! Thank you! I've wanted one of these for a long time. Second, Chandelure has ridiculously high special attack. Chandelure has the highest special attack of any non-legendary Pokemon ever, which can reach a maximum of 427. That rivals even Mewtwo. I have no idea how a Chandelure can have that much power, but I'm not complaining in the slightest. Not only is Chandelure powerful, but it's also very mysterious and granted a little bit creepy. If you all thought Dusknoir was scary, then you haven't seen anything yet. Chandelure is based upon the souls of the newly dead, which take on the form of mysterious fiery apparitions. And apparently, one of those ghastly apparitions decided to inhabit a decorative ornament commonly used by humans. That is just plain terrifying. Just imagine a fiery apparition that hides inside an object that dangles over your very head. But believe it or not, that isn't the scariest thing about Chandelure. Being a possessed Chandelure, Chandelure gets its name because it lures any unsuspecting organism close to it and consumes its very spirit and burns it up inside its flaming center, leaving the body behind to rot without its soul. Fucking hell, Game Freak, are you trying to traumatize your younger consumers? That's like something the goddamn devil would do. Jesus. With all spirit cremation set aside, Chandelure is just downright lovable, especially if you're a Satanist. But seriously, if you're wanting a good fire type, then give Chandelure a chance. EV train it in special attack, and you'll have an offensive monster. Just don't let it hang on your ceiling. Just take my word for it. Up next, we have the intelligent, sky-soaring male member of the legendary Eon duo, Latios. Once again, I'm sorry if all of you wanted to see Latios on here, but Latios is my favorite member of the Eon duo for several reasons. Soaring the skies of Hoenn, this telepathic dragon flies so fast that it can even outspeed military jets. Then again, I guess it comes as no surprise considering that Latios and Latias have the highest base speed out of all dragon types. Their speed can reach a maximum of 350, rivaling that of Serperior and even Sneasel. Being the male counterpart to Latias, Latios shares a lot of status similarities with her, as you would expect from a legendary duo. Both of their base stat totals are 600, which is equivalent to that of all the pseudo-legendaries, as well as numerous other legendary Pokemon. Like Latias, Latios has a signature move, Luster Purge. Luster Purge is a mildly powerful psychic attack that has a 50% chance of lowering the target's special defense. The Eon Duo members are the only dragon psychic type so far, and I'm sure it will stay like that for a while. With its superb psychic attributes, Latios possesses the intelligence to actually detect the location of others and even sense their emotions through telepathy. Despite being the offensive member of the Eon duo, Latios boasts a very docile and calm temperament, meaning that Latios does not like fighting others when it can be avoided by other means. Well, that's one trait I can relate to, but I'm going to be completely honest with you here. The reason I placed Latios this high is his role in the 5th movie, Pokemon Heroes. Yes, I know that this wasn't the best way to end the original series, but I still enjoyed the movie. Specifically, Latios and Latias. These two were definitely the highlight of the film, with Latias being the playful and emotional one, and Latios being the serious, protective, and responsible one. When the main antagonists, named Annie and Oakley, use the defense mechanism of Alto Mare, they end up flooding the whole place and cause a massive tidal wave to barrel towards the town. If left alone, that tidal wave would have destroyed all of Alto Mare. With his brave nature and overprotective feelings towards his little sister, Latios attempts to stop the tremendous wave with Safeguard, which he does, at a cost. Latios ends up sacrificing himself to save everyone. Latios is one of the only 2 Pokemon that have officially died in the anime and has never been resurrected. Latios' sacrifice is one of the very few times I've actually mourned while watching a Pokemon movie. Even though I was 11 when I first watched this, I still cry watching it today. It's no wonder Latios is my second favorite legendary dragon, because I can say without hesitating that he completely changed my outlook on this series. Rest in peace, my dear friend, for you will be missed immensely. Fuck yes! You bet your ass I love Blaziken. Being the literal interpretation of fried chicken, Blaziken is a 6-foot-tall brute of a bird capable of leaping over a skyscraper with a single jump. Judging from that previous remark I made, you'd think that I'd love Blaziken. Well, duh! Even though I didn't grow up with him, Blaziken is hands down my favorite fire starter. Seriously, none of the others come even close to this badass. Being the very first firefighting starter, Blaziken's typing makes up for one of the widest type arsenals of any starter. Even though its type coverage isn't as wide as Emboar's, Blaziken still manages to learn an awful lot of moves. With moves like Brave Bird, Sky Uppercut, Blaze Kick, Shadow Claw, Night Slash, Thunder Punch, Poison Jab, Solar Beam, Earthquake, and even Stone Edge, Blaziken can easily take care of just about any opponent. Blaziken is one of the most offensively based starters to date, with both of his attack stats reaching the high 300s. Sure, Emboar's physical attack is higher, but Blaziken has both better defenses and better speed. Speaking of speed, that is one of the main reasons why Blaziken is the only starter to be banned in online tournaments. Seriously, I'm not kidding. Blaziken's hidden ability is Speed Boost. I may notice Speed Boost when talking about Yen Mega. This ability allows the Pokemon that has it raise its speed stat by 1 level every turn. If you combine that with Blaziken's offensive capabilities and the huge type coverage it has, then you can have one deadly fighting force. Time for a quick mention to his cry. Seriously, just try to listen to this cry and try not to be intimidated.
Help! It's Birdzilla!
And you know what the strangest part about it is? Blaziken is one of the toughest starter Pokemon ever, yet he's based on something that we consume on a daily basis. Chicken. Man, you don't want to fuck with those, unless you want a Blaze Kick to the face. I just find that funny, because normally chickens are friendly and relatively harmless. So what the hell happened to him? How the hell can a chicken be that strong? Yes, I know it's Pokemon logic, but still. From what I can guess, Blaziken is based upon cockfighting chickens of all things. The breed of chicken that he is based on is Shamo. Shamo! Now, you might be thinking, how is that puny little chicken nugget anything like Blaziken? Oh, you haven't heard? Once they managed to domesticate this breed, they mated it with Chuck Norris to create a super badass hybrid. It's amazing what a video game developer can come up with while they're eating KFC hot wings. Blaziken is my favorite fire starter, as well as my second favorite fire type all around. He's a monstrous, creative, and kick-ass fire type. Time for yet another Sinnoh evolution to get some praise. This time, it's my favorite Gen 4 electric type, as well as my third favorite steel type ever, Magnezone. Quick apologies to both Luxray and Heatran, for they are both awesome electric and steel types. Just not nearly as awesome as this thing. Similar to what other Sinnoh evolutions did for their pre-evolutions, Gen 4 turned Magneton into an even more powerful discharging force of destruction. When exposed to a special magnetic field, Magneton's molecular structure becomes more densely compressed together, giving him much more power and a very futuristic security robot look. Like I said, Magnezone is a huge upgrade from Magneton. Magnezone is the placeholder for the highest special attack of all electric types, both legendary and non-legendary. Magnezone's special attack can reach a maximum of 394, outranking other specially offensive Pokemon, such as Roserade, Azelf, Keldeo, and even Gardevoir. Oh, the wonders of electromagnetism. In addition to the change in power, Magnezone can now learn several new defensively based moves, such as Mirror Coat and even Barrier. Speaking of defenses, that's another thing that Magnezone greatly excels in. Magnezone's physical defense can reach a maximum of 361. If that wasn't enough, he also has a unique typing. Magnezone and its pre-evolutions are the only steel electric types so far. Personally, I'd like to see another Pokemon with this typing, but until then, the props go off to Magnezone. This typing also gives Magnezone a very useful advantage. Magnezone and its evolutionary line have 12 resistances and 1 immunity, making them the most resistant Pokemon to date, even outclassing Dialga. And with the addition of Magnet Rise, which makes them immune to ground-type attacks, their major weakness is negated through this tactic. Fuck, I'd hate to pick a fight with one of these things. So, as far as overall strength goes, Magnezone is the best electric type that I can recommend. Yes, even over Zapdos. Now that I've talked about the standard statistics, let's move on to something that makes Magnezone a very strange case. As you probably already know, the only way to evolve a Magnezone is to level him up in either Mount Coronet for Sinnoh or Chargestone Cave in Unova. This is a strange way to evolve a Pokemon, but I can personally overlook it. But There is one thing about it that really sucks. If you want a Magnezone in Heart Gold or Soul Silver, you have to trade it over, because there is no way of evolving Magneton in these games, not even at Mount Silver. That sucks. Oh well, I can always get one in Platinum. Bottom line, Magnezone is my second favorite electric type. He's powerful, he's bulky, and is altogether just another kick-ass Sinnoh evolution. Up next, we have the cuter and more placid member of the Mew duo, Mew himself. Now, I'm sure many of you were expecting to see Mew to show up eventually. Well, here he is, in all his cute and power-filled glory. Being the supposed ancestor of all Pokemon, Mew is among the rarest Pokemon ever. Mew is so rare that it's actually considered a mirage by both Pokemon scientists and even the common folk. Also, thanks to his ancient genealogy, Mew is able to learn almost any move. Almost any move. All TMs, all HMs, Transform, Metronome, you name it. With the exception of some signature moves. Being the original Fairy Legendary, Mew is easily the most diverse Pokemon ever. Even with all that diversity, Mew is not really focused on power, unlike his more powerful duplicate. This is another reason why I really like Mew. Mew pretty much spends his entire life playing and having fun. Whenever Mew's on screen, I can't help but smile the whole time. Man, why can't everyone be as upbeat as this adorable little bundle of bliss? Alright, let's move on to the more mysterious aspects of Mew. Spoken of primarily in myths, Mew is one of the most interesting Pokemon in the mind of researchers. Since it's able to learn so many moves, researchers have often wondered if Mew truly is the ancestor of all Pokemon. So, is it true? Is Mew truly the ancestor of all Pokemon? Well, even though I lean more towards Mew's side of origin, none can really say for sure. Believe it or not, Mew wasn't originally meant to be programmed within the original Red and Green. Even Nintendo was not initially aware that Shigeki Morimoto had programmed Mew into the game. This was revealed in 2003, when the famous Mew glitch was uncovered. So I guess Mew was a software bug. Strangely enough, Mew is one of the last Gen 1 Pokemon to be created. In fact, Tsunkaz Ishihara, the CEO of the Pokemon Company, created Mew 2 weeks before development was finished. That's very interesting. Alright, let's talk about what I personally love about Mew's appearance. Even though he resembles a vertebrate embryo, I personally find Mew to be unbearably cute. I mean, seriously, who doesn't think Mew is cute? It's as if the designers were deliberately trying to make Mew cute. Everything about Mew is cute. His name, his pink coloration, and especially the way he sounds. Aww. Bottom line, I love Mew. A lot. At number 14, we have the king of all things slow, Slowking. To me, Slowking has always had a very unique charm applied to him. Since he's one of the evolved forms of this slow little guy, you'd think that Slowking would be just another drooling idiot for all the politicians to welcome into their clan.
Guess again.
Slowking's actually one of the most intelligent of all Pokemon, even rivaling both Alakazam and Metagross. But unlike those two, Slowking also has an unusually clever sense of humor. Slowking is the only Pokemon, besides Meowth of course, that is able to speak with his own mouth. Of course, the Slowking I'm referring to is the one from the second Pokemon movie, The Power of One. Believe it or not, I don't watch this movie for Lugia. I watch it for Slowking. This Slowking is probably the most entertaining Pokemon to have ever been in the anime. While he plays the role of the Shimudi Shrine Guardian, he definitely has a slew of hilarious and memorable quotes, such as,
"This looks bad,"
and,
"I could use pants."
"Oh man, I love this guy." Thanks to his lovable personality, Slowking later appeared in a short episode known as Slowking's Day. It's basically what he does on a regular basis. The only thing that sucks about this episode is that it was never aired outside of Japan. That's a real letdown, as I wanted to see more of Slowking's life in translated English. Well, let's skew off from the anime mumbo-jumbo and talk about his battle capabilities. Being a psychic type, Slowking is primarily special in terms of stats. Slowking is statistically pretty strong, but there's one thing you'll notice about Slowking's stats when you look at them. His stats are almost exactly the same as Slowbro's. The only difference is their defenses. Slowbro is physically defensive, while Slowking is specially defensive. Personally, I'm more in favor of Slowking's stats, as having both special defense and offense is a very good thing to have together, especially when it has Calm Mind, where both of these stats are raised one level. Their move pools are also nearly identical, although Slowking can learn a few more moves than his dopier counterpart, such as Dragon Tail and even Power Gem. Slowking is also the only Pokemon to tamper with theatrical realism. What could I mean by that? Well, here's what I mean. Everyone knows that the fourth wall is something extremely precious. Well, Slowking pretty much makes the fourth wall his bitch in the single most amusing scene in any Pokemon movie.
Lots of people saw what you did out there. And all of them are watching you right now.
Damn you, Slowking. Damn you for being so awesome. Rising from the dunes of Hullen, we have the mystic elemental spirit of the desert, otherwise known as Flygon. Just like Manectric, Flygon was a certain Pokemon that I fell in love with the instant I saw one. Fighting Drake of the Elite Four in Sapphire for the first time, you'd imagine how intrigued I was when he sent out one of his Flygons. Even when I see a trainer send out a Flygon today, I still geek out at its mere presence. In all honesty, Flygon is my favorite non-legendary Dragon-type Pokemon. There, I said it! You gonna crucify me, Salamence worshippers? Probably one of the reasons I love Flygon so much is that he shares a lot of characteristics with that of insects. Even though Flygon is a dragon type, he's not actually a dragon. Flygon is based upon the adult form of the antlion, which bears an uncanny resemblance to that of a dragonfly. To be honest, I think Flygon would make a better bug ground type than dragon. But I guess that's just me. So it's quite clear now that Flygon is certainly a unique dragon type. Like all dragon types, Flygon is statistically very good. Although it falls flat in comparison to other dragons, it's still not too shabby. Flygon's stat distribution is very similar to that of Kingdra, being very well balanced and having a relative base stat total. Flygon's greatest stat is a tie between his speed and physical attack, both reaching a maximum of 328. Yeah, I know, kinda weak for a dragon type, but hey, at least he's more reliable than Druddigon. Aside from speed and attack, every one of Flygon's stats are base 80. Like I said before, a Pokemon doesn't have to have ridiculous stats in order for me to love it. While Flygon is statistically one of the weakest dragon types, his creativity, charm, and appearance is what makes him so great. I've already explained his concept, so let's move on to appearance. As I previously mentioned, Flygon shares a lot of characteristics with insects. His wings are rhombus-shaped, much like several species of Darner dragonflies. His eyes look an awful lot like compound lenses, like those you see on common dipterans like flies. And he also has a pair of green antennae which point back. I don't know, there's just something about him, really. Maybe it's because of my outlandish obsession with insects, but I'm not sure. Final verdict, I see Flygon as an extremely underrated Pokemon. Considering the fact that he's overshadowed by that bastard Salamence, it's not very often when I hear someone say that Flygon is their favorite dragon type. As far as my thoughts go, Flygon is both my second favorite dragon type and my second favorite ground type. For 8 years, he has remained my favorite ground type. That is, until the next contender came along. Oh boy, you know it, motherfucker. Excadrill is pure awesome. Being a popular choice among Gen 5 players, Excadrill is a subterranean bipedal mole-like monster capable of drilling through ridiculously thick iron slabs. This dude makes major burrows look like a baby Diglett. Being one of the only two ground steel types, Excadrill makes for one of the strongest Unova Pokemon you can possibly have. How so? Well, let's dive into statistics. At first glance, it's easy to see why Excadrill's greatest stat is attack. Excadrill's attack can reach a maximum of 405. which is equivalent to that of Excadrill and even Metagross. If an Excadrill gives you a dirty look, then that's when you know you're fucked. Much like Blaziken, Excadrill is actually considered banned in the tier list. You're probably wondering, how can that be? After all, its base stat total is lower than that of all the starters. Well, allow me to explain. The reason Excadrill is so damn dangerous is because of his ability, Sand Rush. Sand Rush is an ability that doubles the Pokemon's speed while in a sandstorm. If you have an Excadrill with max speed sent out in a sandstorm, it's guaranteed to move first, with the exception of priority moves. In a sandstorm, a Sand Rush Excadrill speed can reach a maximum of 604! That's faster than any Pokemon in the entire franchise. In a nutshell, Excadrill is a terrifying sweeper, as his typing also ensures that he is immune to both Toxic and Thunder Wave. Need I mention Swords Dance and Rock Slide while holding King's Rock? Now that I've talked about how goddamn strong Excadrill is, let's talk about appearance. Do I even need to say anything about his appearance? I mean, just look at him. He looks like Bottles the short-sighted mole if he injected himself with industrial strength steroids and ripped pieces of the Hag-1 apart and welded them to his arms and head. There's nothing too special about his concept, but hey, he's a mole, and moles are pretty awesome. You can't go wrong there, now can you? I mean, finally, an actual mole Pokemon. Definitely a huge improvement over Mr. Half an Oval with 3 circles. In conclusion, Excadrill is hands down my favorite ground type, as well as my second favorite Gen 5 Pokemon. He looks awesome, he's ridiculously tough, and he's a mole for fuck's sake. While I feel that he's overused by many players, he still holds a solid spot at number 12 on this list. Keep on trucking, Excadrill. You the boss. Putting an end to part 9, we have Ampharos.
Oh hey Ben, what's up?
Only number 11.
Oh come on, you know this is my list.
But, he's so cute!
You mind telling me how the hell you got into my video in the first place?
Midbis gave me the password.
Hey, Ben, you got something on your shoulder.
Ah! Get it off!
You alright, man?
Yeah, I think so.
Good, because there's a deli bird right behind you.
Nice try.
So, where was I again? Oh yes, Ampharos. As you could tell from his place on the list, I really like Ampharos. So much so that he's actually my favorite electric type. Yeah, I said it. Not only is his name really cool, but I love just about everything about this little guy. First and foremost is his stats. Ampharos' base stat total is 500, equivalent to that of many previously mentioned Pokemon, such as Bronzong, Poliwrath, as well as Heracross. Ampharos' greatest stat, as you would expect, is Special Attack, which can reach a maximum of 361. That's the same as Raikou's Special Attack, meaning that Ampharos is very good offensively. As for defenses, Ampharos is hit or miss. While his physical defense is pretty low, his base 90 special defense is enough to take a good amount of special offense. Despite what some people might think, Ampharos is very different among its similar type brethren. For a start, Ampharos has a base speed stat of 55, which is something you would not expect from an electric type, especially with the ridiculously high standards previously introduced with Electrode and Jolteon. The other thing that sets Ampharos apart from other electric types is his move pool. In addition to the traditional electric type moves such as Thunder or Discharge, Ampharos is the only electric type that can learn Power Gem, as well as the only one able to learn both Cotton Spore and Cotton Guard. Like I mentioned when talking about Maractus, Cotton Guard is a ridiculously useful move. With Cotton Guard, Ampharos' defense can be put to good use with 2 mere uses of the move. Now let's talk about his appearance and concept. Whenever I look at Ampharos, I simply can't help but have a big smile on my face. I mean, look at this cute little guy. You gotta love that blank stare of his. To me, that silly face just shows that he's clueless beyond belief. That's what you call drunk happy. And look at that face. He knows how cute he is. Don't you just want to pet the little guy? Finally, let's talk concept. Ampharos resembles a sheared sheep with traits similar to that of a lighthouse, as they both act as beacons for lost individuals. Or perhaps Ampharos may be based on the title of the science fiction novel Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Well, here's my ending statement. If there is any electric type I would recommend, it would have to be Ampharos. Don't ask questions, just get one. Now.